If you are watching this video, I commend you. Based on how my videos in the Bad Batch are doing, as well as the fact that I've heard little to no hype about the series on social media, I'm really not surprised. I'm watching it, still powering through, and hoping I'll see another episode like episode 3. Unfortunately, this episode doesn't cover the mission that Hunter and Echo were on in the last episode. Instead, we get another treasure hunt that goes nowhere. I understand entirely if hearing that makes you want to exit the video. If, on the other hand, you enjoy these adventures that center on Omega, go ahead and stick around. The episode starts in a junkyard where Wrecker and Omega are searching for a spare compressor, and Omega ends up bringing back a pile of trash and random baubles to Sid's bar. Other than the compressor, Tech tells Omega that the pile of junk is indeed just trash. Still, Phee, the pirate woman who showed up in the first episode, is regaling the only 2 patrons that Sid ever has about the Grand Pearl of Novak, which has no significance to the lore. She recognizes one of the trinkets in the pile as a compass to hidden treasure in the Kaldar Trinary system, which I don't believe we've ever heard of in Star Wars lore. Now, Omega has been listening to Phee's tales, and she gets really excited, asking Hunter if they can search for the treasure. And Hunter's face perfectly reflects my attitude towards these episodes that feel like filler. Like, goddamn kid, enough with the nonsensical trips that ultimately result in nothing other than wasted fuel. But Phee tries to sweeten the deal by splitting whatever treasure they find 50-50. So the group takes the Marauder and heads to an unknown planet, which, when they arrive, looks completely desolate. They make their way to what looks like the entrance to a cave, which opens after they trigger a cave-in, and this really sets the tone for the rest of the adventure. Once inside, Tech and Phee analyze some ancient ruins on the walls, which leads them to understand that these ruins predate the Republic and the Jedi. This got me interested initially. I love revelations involving deep lore and the history of a fictional universe. Phee also learns from the ruins that this is the entrance to Skara Nal, which leads to a mythical crystal, called the Heart of the Mountain. But if you think that this episode is written to be as compelling as The Hobbit, you would be wrong. In fact, the group stumbles their way through the ruins, solving the most uninspired puzzles as if Skyrim hasn't existed for over a decade. And if you're like me, it took it the longest time to realize that the answer to the puzzles was on the back of the dragon claw. They get separated at one point after fighting a monster I don't recognize. If you do know what this creature is, please post that in the comment section. They eventually make it to the final chamber, where Phee removes the most generic looking crystal I've ever seen. Upon removing it, the entire mountain shakes, which is pretty cliche. But then it surprises me when the ruins they were in turns out to be this colossal, dinosaur-looking walker, which was activated simply by removing the crystal. And once again, I initially got excited seeing this, because it made me wonder, was this the remnant of an ancient war? Perhaps a weapon of the Rakatan Empire if you know your expanded universe lore. We don't know. Periodically, the walker takes a few steps and fires a giant laser, and since there aren't any controls, the group realizes that they have to plug the crystal back in to shut it off, which doesn't seem like an intelligent system. To manufacture some tension for this episode, the writers have Phee fumble around and drop the crystal a few times. Also, that monster comes back, but is dealt with pretty quickly by Wrecker. Finally, they manage to plug the crystal back in, which ends up destroying the entire thing, leaving them with nothing to show for this adventure other than the sentiment of, well, at least someone bad didn't find this huge death machine. And unfortunately, that's it. We don't learn anything about the walker, the crystal, or this planet, other than that this stuff predates the Republic. But why was it there? Was it left there for a future generation to take and get revenge on their enemies? Or were they hoping somebody would stumble upon it and activate it just to cause destruction? Honestly, no possible explanation makes sense to me, if only because of how the walker is controlled, or the lack of control. The system works by removing the crystal, and seemingly by putting it back in destroys the entire thing. Does that mean it's a one-off? Does it run on renewable energy so that it can just keep going forever? If you're looking to set off a doomsday device, it doesn't make sense that it could be stopped by something as simple as plugging the crystal back in. So what's the point? Not just the point of the walker, but what was the point of the episode? We didn't learn anything more about the Star Wars universe. We didn't learn anything about Phee that we couldn't infer from her first appearance. So what was the point? If you think you have the answer, I would love to hear it in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell so you never miss out on a new video. I'll see you all next time. Bye.